Yes, we should get to our topic. How are we reinventing the gig economy with DAOs?
Yeah, it's a good topic.
I think that's a great topic.
So how you contribute to it, and also like how you contribute to the DAO, because I believe you have multiple roles in your life. So how is the
I was
balancing?
thinking about that actually on my drive over, and we were talking specifically about like people whose main role is caregiver, right? Like I was a caregiver. Okay, I guess everyone's interested in this. I hope so. I was a caregiver for 12 years, meaning I was at home with my children and I was homeschooling them. So I was home. I had to like, even though I was home, like, yeah, we were homeschooling. And my entire time, those 12 years that I was home with them, I was extremely involved with online communities. That was like my entire social life was online communities. So my children are adopted, and so I was involved with adoption communities pretty heavily and involved with homeschooling communities. Part of that is because we don't have church anymore and we don't have family anymore. I will say at least in the US. Like we don't really live close to our families. We don't have like aunts and uncles and everyone else around us to help support our child rearing. And so having an online life was extremely important. And because of that, because of what I did as a mod, admin, community creator, a lot of that work, which was unpaid, I'm able to do what I do now at Collab.Land. And so like on my drive over here, I was thinking about how now, like I don't really have any evidence of it, right? Like, yes, I built up a reputation, but outside of crypto, and I don't have any online, on-chain evidence of the work that I did. However, now with DAOs, we can have that. So it's like, the payment part is rough. I would say if you want a consistent paycheck, I don't know if I would actually recommend that to the parents out here just yet. It's still too early. Join a DAO. Don't expect to get paid right away. You really got to learn the whole system first. However, reputation building is something that you can do. Getting tipped, collecting POAPs. There are lots of other things that you can do that will have some on-chain evidence for the future. So mostly for me, I was able to parlay the work that I did before being in crypto into crypto. But now for all the parents in the room, like, there's a real opportunity there. Also, women specifically, and I guess I can just keep talking about this, but I don't know if I should. I can take some time.
It's okay.
Okay, well, really quickly. But like women are cut out of career building that whole time that they choose to parent their children. Like I said, my children are adopted, but my daughter is autistic. And so for me, I really wasn't able to find a school for her right away to like just send her away for 8 hours a day. So I wasn't able to do that. And so I chose to care for her at home and teach her at home. But a lot of people that choose to do that then can't go back into the workforce. And it's really disabling for people who are caregivers, because then you don't have an opportunity to, number one, build your own identity outside of caregiving, which is paralyzing. If you know caregivers in your life, please hug and kiss them and check in on them. But also financially, it's very crippling to not be able to have a career to go back to after you've chosen to be a caregiver. And both parents benefit from caregivers, right? So it's like, just because I chose to be the caregiver doesn't mean that my partner didn't also benefit from having his children being cared for, right? And so this is an opportunity for people to kind of maintain that relationship with the workforce in some tentative way so that they can have the confidence to go back to it, because that's what happened with me.
No, that's very interesting. But also, like what you mentioned there, like the paying part, I feel like, we haven't got paid through the DAO much, or not every DAO is paying for the work. Right. But I think that should not be the standard, because
that should not be the standard. I'm keeping it real. Yeah. So I don't want anyone out there to be like, oh, I'm joining a DAO and I'm doing all this work and where's my paycheck? Like, I don't want to lead anyone down the wrong path. I want to keep it 100% real. It's messy. Getting paid is messy.
But like, I think maybe to your earlier, because like you're building this platform, for basically alignment with incentives and also like basically pay people to do the work. Like, do you think like what you see, there is actually a future where DAOs will be rather paying well and for the work and like enabling caregivers to be home with their kids, but also have kind of a paycheck?
Yeah, so I think to your point, like the DAOs do not reinvent, like gig economy and fractional work has been existing before and continue to exist, but DAOs kind of give a new opportunity for people to start, and eventually like same principles exist in the DAO world, same as in a traditional world. Like if you create value, you're gonna get value. The type of value and how much, that really depends, and the opportunities within the DAO space could be different from what you have in Web 2 or in traditional. So I would say we used to live in a world like employment was binary, like either you're a full-time employee or maybe full-time freelance. And with a DAO, you can be on the spectrum, you can be really finding the right balance for what you want to do. You can be involved in multiple organizations, you can be in one deep dive in multiple projects within a DAO. And I think that the innovation or the things that now the DAO space allows are twofold. One is the ownership opportunity. So if I'm walking through, I'm already, let's say, a gig economy worker in Upwork or Fiverr, so I can do like fractional work, but there is no element of getting ownership of the platform I'm using to create my reputation and my work history. And this is what in our space we can see that we can, and basically part of what we are building at Covariance is giving people the ability to build something together and also assume ownership over that. The second thing is that you can also assume ownership over the project that you work for. So it's not just getting paid in US dollars or stable coins, you can also get tokens or even future tokens. And this is something that we are working at Covariance, basically giving people the ability, while they're doing full-time job in one role or whether they're doing it in multiple roles, to get involved with projects, give value, create value, leveraging the network, their knowledge, and then get rewarded in upside opportunity with a project that they support. So that's, I think, things that differentiate Web3 and DAOs versus the traditional gig economy.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Basically, the gig economy itself is the same. However, now for your gig, you are getting not just paid, but also kind of ownership and reputation building in the space. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I think the reputation thing is like the next step. So getting paid is similar, but when you get paid in Web 2, you create like siloed reputation off-chain and in specific platforms, and within crypto you can create your on-chain identity. And I like to look at it, we used to do it like online. These are like the Web 2 marketplaces. Then we moved on-chain, which is doing like my on-chain credentials, on-chain capital and record. And I think we're going to go into an on-record space where everything I'm contributing, I'm getting like reputation or credentials that can be accumulated in different things, like my financial history, my professional, my social, now with Forecaster and other type of protocols. And kind of the combination of all of this gives us the opportunity to kind of expand beyond being with a specific project or employer.
I'm going to add something to that. As you were talking, I was thinking about this in terms of reputation building as well, which is like the opportunity to be anon or pseudo-anon, like is really liberating because you can build a reputation as an anon or a pseudo-anon person, which how else could you have done that at any other time, right? Like that really liberates a lot of people who maybe were born in different countries or maybe didn't have a specific education, or like there's so many more, like there's a jump start, there's like an opportunity here to
No, it made me think because like I saw someone here that I've been really close, like we've been interacting, but me as an anon, like he doesn't know who am I. Like he's here, he doesn't know that. And that's cool, like we were coming to a conference, you can speak to a person but you cannot kind of disclose that.
Right, and that can be, especially for people maybe who have disabilities or anything that they don't necessarily feel comfortable for whatever reason, right? They may be a trans person, it could be anything, that they maybe are like, oh, this might be a prejudice that somebody would have against me. But in our new landscape, like, we are welcoming of anon and pseudo-anon people. And that is, I think, really quite amazing and beautiful.
Yeah, no, this is nice. And like, I have my pseudonym as well, you know. My bigger problem is like how I balance those two names kind of thing. Like, should I introduce myself with my
name or public? Exactly.
My real name? Like, I don't know. Well, I have actually another question. I will deal with my issues later. Like, Anjali, you are also involved in like many communities, not just one. Like, how is actually that working? Like, how are you balancing like working in like multiple, basically you have like 5 full-time jobs. So how you do it?
Well, my children are older now. I will say that they're 16 and 19, so I'm kind of free of them wanting to be around me. I say that I got fired from one job and then I got hired for another job. And my co-founder is my partner. And so I have a lot of freedom in that way. Like, I don't have to necessarily balance a home life because like my spouse is also a co-founder in our company. And so we have no balance. So, you know, we talk a little bit, and I was talking to somebody earlier about work-life balance. And I would say it's very difficult to have work-life balance. I will say I have a difficulty with that because work has kind of become my life because I can't help it. It's too exciting. My first job out of college was at an internet startup back in 1996. And the energy I feel now in the crypto space is like electric in the same way that energy felt back in 1996 living in the Bay Area. And so I don't have balance. I don't want balance right now, thankfully, because like I said, my children are older and I don't have to deal with a partner who wants my time. He's happy to talk about crypto and DAOs and everything and community all the time. So I don't know. I don't really have an answer for that one. I'd say it's very difficult when your children are young. That is going to take its own set of challenges. But if you can just kind of stay in it, obviously you have to be excellent at your time management. But being able to like maintain that contribution while your children are young, then once they don't need you as much, like mine don't as much, then you are able to go into a full-time career. But I don't have work-life balance. I don't think I want work-life balance. And it's just, this is my whole life right now and I love it. So I don't
If you love it.
We love it.
But Lior, do you have some like less scary answer?
Less scary.
Like working in crypto basically taking over your life?
Is it taking
Yeah, but I think it's a good thing because people in crypto usually do something that they are really passionate about, and this is what they want to do. So I left my corporate job. I've been a CFO of a subsidiary of HP, and I've been kind of pretty bored and felt like I don't learn every day, and I kind of left everything. It was 2018, so started with building DAO governance infrastructure with DAOstack back then. And I felt like every day I'm learning something new, and like, okay, so you don't have a balance, but you finish your day and you keep scrolling on your Telegram and Discord and Twitter because this is what you're interested in. So I think it's a good thing, but yeah.
Farcaster these days.
Today is Farcaster, we didn't have.
I actually like Farcaster more than Twitter now.
Yeah, and I recommend anyone to open their Farcaster account. Like, we are still early, there are about like 200,000 users. But I guess like this time next year, yeah, I'm betting like 10x easy.
Yes, absolutely. +1 to Farcaster. When I just came from NFT Paris and was at 2 different Farcaster meetups. Everyone's fantastic. It was so much fun. So yes, it is still early at Farcaster, but there's a real ground floor kind of feeling over there to really have access to everybody.
It's like almost like a DAO. It's like a community of builders actually building this
with
together.
reputation building, right?
Yeah.
And being able to earn as well with their tipping there too. So
they are basically a DAO.
they are basically a DAO. Yeah, definitely.
So we are coming up on time, but now we are opening up for questions. Any questions from the audience?
Thank you. Hi. What you said about accessibility being maximized for people who otherwise couldn't participate in the gig economy is amazing. but then it sort of runs into the well-intentioned but poorly constructed employment law regime. And I'm curious, what would be a legal framework where DAOs that are engaged in gig economies, paying people in tokens, because if you're anonymous, complying with all the taxation and the reporting that you have to do, it's difficult. It's a problem I don't think we can fix in this conversation, but if you had a magic wand, what would that regime look like?
Oh, that's a really tough one. I mean, I will say when I get paid as a DAO member, then I'm just doing my own self-reporting. Because it's still very messy, right? And so I'm doing my self-reporting. And again, in the US, if it's over $600 and they have to give you a 1099, that's not happening because a lot of these organizations are just completely on-chain organizations. They don't even have a legal structure. So yes, I agree. It is a bit messy. I would say individual contributors, if you're getting paid, just make sure you do your own accounting. Make sure whatever you get paid, don't depend on somebody else reminding you or sending you a 1099 in the mail. You have to report yourself and pay your own taxes about it. But it's still messy. It's still early. And I don't know how that will be resolved because this is a global network, right? And so people are everywhere and you're just getting money into your wallet address. There's no KYC around that yet. Will there be in the future? I don't know. I hope not, but let's see. Do you have an answer for that?
And also, we have tech-specific talk in the afternoon, so you want to stay definitely for that one. Lior, do you have a answer?
Yeah, no, I'm just that if you decide to be anon on your front end, I would call it like participating in DAO. It doesn't mean that you have to be on the back end. Like you can get salary and then report it as you do normally when you report taxes. So of course, there are people that will decide to go anon all the way down and be kind of off.
Well, we don't encourage that because IRS is powerful. Any other questions?
Hey there, my name is Ifti. I'm with Avagachi DAO. I'm a community lead there. And maybe I wonder if you guys can speak to the importance of grants programs in DAOs and how they can enable innovation. That's something we're looking at Avagachi right now, spinning up an official grants program, because what we're seeing is a barrier to maybe some people who have experimental ideas or are intimidated by our very multiple step governance process and don't want to go through the scrutiny that they might have to go to get like $5,000. So maybe you can speak to that, and I'd love to know what you guys think about grants programs in DAOs.
I would say like from the time at DAOstack, we've been allocating monthly $40K for kind of open innovation. People were requesting money to do stuff. But on the other hand, when you don't have any guidelines, no kind of framework, KPIs, way to measure that. So it could go both ways. Like it could go like money that people just take and you get no value back. But it can also kind of empower people to create crazy stuff. But I think these days, like we are not yet at like the bull markets days that like money was like water going around. And so you do have to be very disciplined in kind of defining KPIs and at least what are the results and how people stay accountable to the results you expect for bringing them.
One thing that we've thought about with Collab.Land is like we're working with a partner called Hedgy Finance. And then you don't give all the money, right? You're going to be dripping it and it's going to be time locked and you're going to make sure that they reach their milestones as they go along. That's one way to do it. Also retroactive. We just got a retroactive grant from Optimism, right? For work that we did over a year ago. So it's like, that's an opportunity, which again, you have to have money in order to even get started with the work. But yeah, that's difficult. However, I think it's extremely important to be able to provide grants for people that are working and doing what you want them to do. I mean, Metacartel originally started as a grants program because the Ethereum Foundation wasn't giving grants for layer 2 research. And so if it wasn't for Metacartel giving grants, then there wouldn't have been all the layer 2 research happening with Ethereum. So it's extremely important, but I understand. It's like a lot of times you give out the money and then you don't know what happens with it. I would say doing some kind of drip and like what Lior said, which is like basing it on milestones, is extremely important. And that's kind of what you want to do. Because otherwise you're just wasting those funds and they just don't come back to you. So either retroactive or drip, look at Hedgy Finance.
Thank you. Thank you, Anjali. Thank you, Lior. It was a great panel. I really enjoyed it.